seen people sitting even in a small room their whole life. I have seen one person in my native place. He lives in my native place. For last 35 years he lives in one 10 by 10 room. 35 years he stays in one 10 by 10 room. Nobody is binding him. He is considered or worshipped as an enlightened master. His name is called Thinnai Swamigal. He is the disciple of Ramana Maharishi. His story is a beautiful story. Let me narrate his story. He went to see Ramana Maharishi and he asked Bhagavan, how can I achieve the spiritual experience? How can I achieve enlightenment? Should I do puja? Should I do some worship? Should I do some repetition of the mantra? Should I chant some verses? What should I do? Should I meditate? Bhagavan said, just very casually he said, drop. Very casual word, just drop. This person is so sincere, simply dropped. Really dropped. Something has dropped in him. And he sat in a nearby room. From that time till today, he is sitting exactly in that same room and living happily. Nobody is binding him. Nobody is asking him not to go out or anything. He just says, no, I am happy. I don't feel like. If at all I feel like, I will go out. Hundreds of people come there to see him. He is sitting there, radiating the peace and bliss. He says, I feel totally expanded. I am boundaryless. Where can I go? There are people who are sitting inside a 10 by 10 room and feeling the boundaryless consciousness, experiencing the universal consciousness. And there are people who are lying in the beaches and feeling suffocated, stressed. Boundaryless experience has nothing to do with outer world. It is something to do with the number of energy clouds you have. The reactive mind. When you drop the reactive mind, when you start directly relating with the existence, your whole being is liberated. Somebody goes to a Zen master and asks, Master, how can I achieve liberation? Master just laughs and says, who has bound you? When did you get into the bondage? Immediately, the disciple just becomes enlightened. When I say the word drop, whatever you understand according to your Oxford dictionary, just do that. That's enough. Whatever you know by the word dropping, just drop. Whatever you think as your being, or whatever you think as you, just drop that. The difficulty is we are afraid. That is the only property we have, asset we have. That is the only thing which we accumulated throughout our life. How to drop that? If we drop that, how to live? How to survive? How we can live? Holding what we can live? All we have is our past life and past experiences. How can we be alive if we drop the past? And I tell you, when you drop the past, don't think the memory itself will disappear. Your emotional attachment to that memory will disappear. Actually, when you drop the past, you will be able to live in the present much more intense way, much more deep way, much more beautiful way. Again and again and again. If you read all the great masters' teachings, it comes back to only one point: drop or fall. Fall in so that you can rise. An important thing. Instead of falling in, many times We fall outside, means falling for the things which is in the outer world, or falling towards the outer world. Of course, whenever you fall towards the outer world, naturally you will make only that as a reality. What? If you fall for anything, you will make that as a reality. That will become solid truth in your life. Whatever you think as truth, you fall for that. Whatever you feel and fall, you make that as a truth. If you think the outer world is truth, you fall for that. If you fall for the outer world, you make that as a truth. When you fall for the inner world, you make the inner world as a reality. When you make the inner world as a reality, you fall more for the inner world. Now it is like a vicious circle. If you fall for the outer world, you make this as a more reality and fall more for this. Circle goes on. And if you fall for the inner world, you make that as a reality and again fall more for it. Whether to travel in this line or in this line is the thing which you are supposed to decide. Pravritti or nivritti in Sanskrit we call, towards the ephemeral or towards the eternal. It is our decision whether to travel towards the pravritti, towards the ephemeral, or towards the nivritti, towards the eternal. When you drop the past, you simply travel towards the eternal. You travel towards the ultimate. You travel towards your being. And you just remember what you are, what's your being. Let me narrate a small story. There was a king ruling a country. He had a son who is a vagabond. Somehow the king was not happy with his attitude and life. So he just wanted to punish his son. So he told his son, leave this country, go out, stay somewhere for 10 years. If you are able to maintain yourself for 10 years, then I may take you back. Otherwise, there is no possibility. Just get lost. Anyhow, he was sent out of the country. He was a prince and he doesn't know anything else. How to maintain himself. All he knows is only to play some music or dance. And who will give money for that? Surely he can't make enough money. So he goes around begging from house to house, door to door. 10 years he was living in the same way. After 10 years, suddenly this king remembered, now it is time. I should send my people to search for my son. Whether he has managed to survive or still he is alive. Let these guys go on, find out. He sends all his people, go around, find where he is. One minister, he goes and finds this prince. This guy was standing and begging somewhere on the roadside. The minister goes and touches the feet of the beggar and says, Sir, do you remember you are a prince of our country? He wanted you to come back. The king wants you now back. Please come back. The moment minister touched his feet, the beggar's whole body language changed. He was a beggar till that moment. The moment the minister touched his feet, he said, Oh, is it so? All right, get my chariot. The whole body language changed. whole tone, the whole mental setup, everything is changed. He got into the chariot, went to the palace, and his whole mental setup is totally different. He can never associate himself again. He was never able to associate himself again with his old past. His lifestyle, body language, mentality, thinking setup, everything is now new. It did not take too much time for him. He did not ask the minister, how can I drop my past? How can I change my mental setup? No. Just one moment, the whole cognitive shift has happened. Really, the cognitive shift takes only one moment, 1 second. All you need to do is to believe the kingdom of God or the heaven is straight away available to us, and open your eyes, start living. This very land can become heaven. This very life can become heaven. This very life can become kingdom of God. Only all you need to do is now you connect all the negative incidents of your life and create an idea about yourself and the world. Instead of that, connect all the positive incidents of your life and create an idea about yourself and the world. That's all, nothing else. Be very clear. At least 50% in our life positive things are there. That is why still we are alive. If everything is completely negative, we can't be alive. You being here, that is enough proof. At least 50% of your life is positive. You being here itself is enough proof. At least we have 50% incidents, things positive in our life. The difficulty is our mental setup is such we can't survive without worries and negativity. Just scan your mental thinking. If you feel relaxed, open, empty sometime, you feel uncomfortable, you start searching for some worries, something to think, something to ponder over, something to contemplate. You can't be alive in boundaryless consciousness. You continuously feel that you need something, some material to chew. You need something to chew. That is the reason you catch some subject. If you don't have any subject, if you are not able to catch any material, you start thinking how long the life will go like this smoothly. I don't know when it will change. I don't know when bad things will start. You start bothering about something else. Always we are habituated, trained to connect all the negative things and create an idea about ourselves and about the world. The way in which you judge yourself, please be very clear, you will be judging the world also in the same way. We never believe others are speaking truth because we never speak truth. You can always see, you always think, when I am like this, naturally he will also be like that only. When I live like this, naturally he will also be like that only. You judge everybody else the same way you judge yourself. Bible says God created man in his own mold. I tell you one more thing. Man creates a world in his own mold. God creates a world, God created man in his own mold. I tell you one thing, man created the world in his own mold. Whatever you think as you create the same world. You project the same world. Any idea which you create about yourself, that plays a major role about your idea about the world. It is you who create and project. It is you who experience. The difficulty is we never give so much of gap between ourself and our thinking system. You are too much associated, caught up with the thinking system. You never suspect it. You never suspect your thinking system and perception. You never doubt. You doubt everybody else, but never yourself. You doubt everybody else, but never yourself. Before satisfaction of any desire, your mind says something. Once you achieve that desire, your mind says totally opposite. But even though it is your experience again and again and again, you never suspect your mind. You never doubt your mind. Before achieving, you think about that object in a different way. Before achieving, even the mustard seed looks like a mountain. Without that, you can't be alive. Especially when you read this Skymal magazine. You feel as if you can't be alive without those products. They write an advertisement in such a wonderful way. You feel they are basic needs. Before achieving, even a mustard seed looks like a mountain. Once you achieve, even mountain looks like a mustard seed. Again and again your mind cheats you. You run to achieve something. The moment you achieve, the whole thing is empty. But you never suspect your mind. You suspect, you doubt everything else except your idea about yourself and your idea about the world, which needs to be doubted, which needs to be suspected. If the moment you start doubting your idea about yourself and your idea about the world, you drop. You just drop. The doubt is more than enough. The very doubt is enough to give you the courage to drop. As long as we don't doubt our understandings, we go on. There's a beautiful movie the other day I was seeing. What the bleep do we know? A wonderful movie. They have done a great service by making that movie. I tell you, they have done a very big service to the world by doing that movie. He asks a beautiful question. Your dream and this world both are seen by your brain in a same way. Then how can you say this is reality and that is dream? Or that is dream and this is reality? They create a basic doubts which is supposed to be created in every individual, in every human being. The moment you enter into this doubt, you drop. When you drop, you really raise. When you fall in, you raise. You raise to the ultimate experience, ultimate consciousness, what we call divine, God, universal intelligence, cosmic energy. So, I pray to the ultimate energy, the cosmic energy, let us all fall in to it and become the divine energy, the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you.